Hi, everyone. My name is Alon, and I'm working for Wix.com. Do you all know what Wix is? You heard about it? So Wix is an online platform allowing people to create their own online business or presence effortlessly, right? And the reason we're doing it so well is because we know how to listen to our customers, and this is exactly what I'm going to talk about today. So what we're going to cover today, that's me. What we're going to cover today is actually how to create effortless interaction with users by overcoming the customer support bias. And I know it's lunch, you all just ate, so I'm going to start with a very easygoing, light story from World War II. It's going to make sense, I promise. So here we go. World War II, the Allies were doing their very best to make sure to downsize the casualties. And they came up with this great idea that they're going to count where planes getting back from the fights, where they got hit. And based on that data, they did the most logical thing ever. They added defenses to the planes, send them back to the field, and hoping they're going to see an improvement of planes not being shot down from the sky. To their big surprise, everything remained the same. They added defenses, send them back to the battlefield, same casualties, nothing changed. So they were baffled, and they did this thing a few times. Then an American mathematician saw this work and said, guys, you're actually doing the wrong thing. You're actually counting the most resilient places airplanes can get hit and still survive the battle. What you should be doing is to count where planes are not being hit, because once they do get hit there, they're not coming back home. So why am I telling you this crazy story? We at support tend to do the same. We're suffering from the same bias. We tend to focus on the users that get through the funnel and actually call us, send us an email, chat, but we're not focusing on the users that are going through the funnel without never contacting us. And that's a major bias that we have. And this is something that we realized at Wix right from the get-go. We saw massive amounts of users coming in, and only 1 out of 10 people actually contacted us. So we understood right from the get-go that if we're not going to focus on the remaining 9 out of 10, we're not going to be able to be leading this, this company in this very competitive field. So for that, we looked outside. Back then it was 2009. We couldn't find any reliable product out there that can actually provide the whole story for us, that can give us all the data points that we want to get right from the get-go up until the end of the process when they actually contact us. So we created our own tool. But before I'm going to go into that, I would just want you guys to realize how big this problem is and how we came up with this solution by showing you the general numbers that we have today with Wix. So today, Wix is, we have more than 150 million registered users. We have 8 support centers across the world, and I want to say 2 of them are with VoxPro. And I feel very proud standing here today saying that out of the 8, 2 of them are for VoxPro, but I'm counting it as my own sites. So shout out to VoxPro for making me feel like that. You guys are doing an awesome job. We're supporting 9 different languages, 1,200 support agents, 8,000 interactions per day with users, and 1.5 million weekly support articles views, okay? So this is the masses. This is how the traffic that we're dealing with on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. As you can see, it's massive. The way to do it is only by having a mechanism that can actually tell us exactly what's happening at any given moment in the system and what people are actually asking or trying to understand using the platform. So like I said before, we had the same problem. The year was 2009. We couldn't find any solution that we were happy with. So we decided and this is how crazy we are, we just decided to create our own platform. So, like I said, nobody can tell us what's happening to the 90% of the users, the feedback coming from the 10%. What does it mean, and how do you combine the two? How do you get a full picture combining the 10% and the 90%? So we created our own solution. Crazy as it sounds, we did it. So it's called Wix Answers, and today Wix Answers is the only platform that we're using in order to support 150 million registered users. And the only reason we're leading the market that we're in, I can say it very proudly, it's thanks to Wix Answers and the insights that we're getting from it. So Wix Answers enables us to actually understand all of our customers from A to Z, and I'm going to show it in the next slides. How? Overview of our user pain points. So we're a data-driven company, and everything that we do needs to be backed up with data. So behind me, you can actually see a few graphs that this is how I start my day. Now, I know that a lot of VPs, support VPs, what they do is, they get in, you look at the statistics of how many people engaged, average response time, NPS scores, whatever it is, the actual engagements. I start my day by understanding the views, how many people actually visited the site, visited the knowledge base articles that we have. And only then, after I understand what's going on in the system, with the 90%, I dive in and I start looking at the actual queue, what's going on with the 10% that actually made it through and were patient enough to contact us. So we have numerous ways to track what it means, how to track that 90 silent percent of the traffic that is coming in. Few of those things is the articles. So you can see here, I don't need to read everything. You can see here that we're actually allowing our users to like articles, to say I'm voting for this. And you have different kind of articles, right? You have some feature requests, you have known issues, etc. And then you can, just based on that, you can say, I'm gonna go back to the previous slide. You can see how many people actually liked something or asked for something. You can see how many people actually visited the knowledge base article. And then at the end of it, you can actually see how many people engage with you. Because we are offering at the end of each article, once you're done reading it, to be able to contact us. Another big thing, this is actually a huge thing that we're doing. We have our own mini Google inside. So we have this search bar. This is something that a lot of companies have. But this is something that means gold to us. What I mean by that? So we're actually tracking exactly what customers are writing down. We can see the entire thread. And based on that, we're offering them, the algorithm offers them the most relevant articles that we're offering them to read. So we're seeing what it is that they're asking. We're providing them at least 5 options to select from. Then we're measuring how many of these options people are actually clicking on. Then based on that, we're seeing if at the end of the process, you're asking to contact support or not. And then at the end of the process, we're seeing if it was a phone call, for instance, what happened during that call. So we're actually measuring the whole thing from A to Z. What they search for in the search bar, what kind of article they chose right from the beginning, and at the end of the process, were they happy with it or not by saying yes or no and then engaging with us or not. I can give you a fantastic example of that. Based on this goldmine that we have, we created one of the most successful products that we have out there. So one day, we started seeing a lot of customers starting to ask about how can I add a logo to my website? And we gave them options. Here's how you do it. You click add, you drag it, and then you add the logo, whatever it is, what kind of file it is. But nobody actually clicked on it, and the very few that did never engaged with us. And that looked very weird to us, because we can see the engagement, we can see that people are asking about something, but clearly they're not getting that something from us, because what we're offering them is not what they're looking for. That was very obvious to us. So we thought about it and we thought about it, and then we decided to create a feature request knowledge base, offering them, are you actually trying to create your own logo instead of adding it. Because everything we did up until that moment was, here's how you add a logo, here's how you do it, etc., etc. The minute we added the feature request option for them to actually edit, we saw a lot of people saying, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not looking a way to add a logo. I'm searching for a way to create one. So we went back to R&D, marketing, etc. We had this whole session, and this is something that we always thought would be a good idea. Now we could back it up with data. So once we did that, we started development right away. 1 month after, we have this feature called Wix Logo Maker, and that's an unbelievable success. Generates a lot of money for the company. We're real proud of it, and our users are thrilled with it. So this is a fantastic example how by tapping into the 90% that didn't engage with us. If I would have waited for someone to actually go through and talk to me and say, this is what I want, I would never develop this tool. We would never develop this tool. So this is a fantastic example just to show you what you can obtain by actually understanding the 90% rather than just the 10%. Before I move on, I just want to be very clear. So this is the knowledge base, and like I said, we have 1.5 million visits a week to all of knowledge base articles. So this is something that it's worth mentioning, that companies are spending millions upon millions of dollars on marketing efforts, right? You do everything you can to get your brand out there. But there's one very simple thing you can do that will probably do better than any commercial out there, and that's having a very successful and strong knowledge base. The knowledge base for Wix generates more traffic than any other thing except for the homepage of Wix.com. Imagine that. The traffic that we're getting organically from a knowledge base we can't compete with that. No other company within Wix can compete with how we're generating organic traffic, and this is, again, thanks to support and knowledge base. So this is another major thing that us, people in our field need to consider as an SEO boost for the entire company as well. So what I'm showing you here in this slide is the option for users to engage with support, and this is something that it's really important for me to stress out. I'm not saying that we don't want to talk to, we want to prevent people from talking to support. God forbid, no. All I'm trying to say is that these days, you're going to do your very best to deflect or at least help users as much as possible, because the honest truth is that people usually don't like to engage with support. They're trying to figure out themselves these days. It's not like how it was 10 or 20 years ago. Today, people are looking for solutions online, and they're hoping to find it right there and then. But what happens when that doesn't happen? When you can't provide that, you need to provide the option for them to contact you. And this is a very straightforward thing. Did it help? If not, click no to contact support. Whenever you do that, we're just offering them right there and then. Call us, email us, let's start a chat. Depends on what the article is. And that's another major thing that I want to talk about. Multi-channel. You heard about this, you probably heard this thing before, right? A few times. I'm sick of it, to be honest, because this is all people say. Multi-channel, we provide multi-channel. But based on that, it actually allows you to take advantage of your resources in the best way possible. Because once someone is reading the right article or whatever article it is, you can then decide how you want to engage with that user at the end of the process. So some engagement, it makes sense to just offer them a phone call. Some engagements, it makes sense to start a chat right there and then. And some engagements, you don't want to talk to the user. If it's a fraud case, it's something you just need to collect more information, all you're going to offer is email. So this is another fantastic funnel to utilize in order for you to get the best way to engage with your users in the best way possible. Cool. Here you can see in actual, one of the companies we work with, one of the companies that are using Wix Answers, Fiverr, they just IPO'd, how they're using this. They have this knowledge base widget in their platform, and at the end of you have videos where you have all the information you can have, and at the end of the process, of course, it can change and everything how it looks. Was it helpful? Yes, no, no will lead you to the contacting their support agents. All right, so everything I just said, I'm gonna show you a video that's gonna demonstrate the platform, the way it works. Everything I just showed you was basically the 90%, but of course, we have the 10% that we're supporting as well, and our system combines everything, both the silent majority of the 90% and the active 10% that actually contact us in a seamless way. So, do you have any questions so far?
So is Wix Answers and the knowledge base all part of the product, or is it a separate product?
That's a great question. So Wix Answers and the knowledge base is all part of the same product, and it's all tied together. So you can actually define how you want to engage with users. So the knowledge base will lead to the contact widget that we have inside. You'll see it in a second, I guess, in the video, but it's all connected together. And yeah.
Have you built it into a platform that your customers could use on their own sites?
Absolutely. So all Wix users can actually use this platform, and we have major players, big companies that are using it. I just showed you one example of Fiverr, an IPO'd company, B2C, that are using it, and they love it. Any other questions so far?
You have a lot of access to your knowledge base.
Right.
How do you drive people?
So that's how it's well built. Once you create your knowledge base topic, we did everything to make sure that even if you don't have experience in creating an SEO, like an SEO expert, we're gonna guide you through it. So the article you're gonna produce, it's gonna be 90% ready, and then of course you need to have someone to just fill in the right content, but we're doing everything for you, so you'll have the best SEO equipped knowledge base for you to have, so you're gonna get it organic traffic coming in. I'm sorry, yes?
You said it was split of 90-10 between those that don't contact self-serve and those that do contact you. Like, are you happy with that mix, or do you want more contact or less?
That's a brilliant question, but I'll say this. We don't know what the right mix is. This is the mix we have. Now, in some specific cases, you can see that people want to engage more, and some even less. So this is the average of what we're seeing, but it's up to you guys, of course, to us. If you want to have more engagement with users, you can always have your support phone number, email, whatever it is, out there. But the way we're seeing this, usually, and this is what I said before, today, people prefer to actually try to solve them themselves before engaging with customer support. So the impact of this thing is this. Once we understand the A to Z, when people are coming in through the platform and they're actually engaging with it, and then we can actually see the ones that go through and talk to us, then you get the 100%. What do we do with this 100% info that we're getting? The entire company, and I know it sounds dramatic, the entire company, Wix, is product R&D, are basing their strategic decisions on the information that we collect. Nobody in the company is allowed to take a decision that is not backed up with the information that is coming from support. So how do we do it? We take all this information, it's very easy, it's out there, and whenever we have the weekly, the quarterly meetings with R&D and the product, we tell them basically what they need to do. And if, let's say, a product manager is gonna say, you know what, the most important thing that I want us to develop next quarter is this, we have the right to say support, I'm sorry, this is great, absolutely do it, but only after you're gonna do A, B, C. And this is why today Wix is so competitive. This is why the product is so effortless, because we keep listening to our users, 100% of them, and based on that, we're taking the right strategic decisions on what to change, what to improve, and what to develop. And basically, I just said all the things that the next slides show. Single source of truth drives product marketing and sales. Everyone are engaged and everyone are tapped to the information coming from support. The user's voice, loud and clear. We're not taking any decisions without that. And all the decision makers in the company rely on the information that we provide. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? Someone that I missed? Yes.
Would you build the knowledge base again today? You evaluated it, 10 years ago, but would you build it all over again today?
Absolutely. I think the knowledge base is the gateway to your company. And this is exactly, today when people are searching for something, they search something on Google. This is the honest truth. They're not going to start with your knowledge base in-house. Some of them will. Most of them are just going to go to Google and search whatever comes to their mind about your platform, about your service. You want to make sure that the results coming up are something that you control and it's your message. And for that, you need to have a strong knowledge base that appears organically. Yes?
You answered one question I had around how you engage with product development or the PMs and the EMs, right? That are thinking about new product features and how the customer ultimately decides if it was a good feature. Knowing that it seems that you've already set up that the customer service organization is critical to decide what features get launched, how do you actually think about educating them on that? Is that something that happens in terms of there's a chronological from product comes into the support organization? Are you presenting voice of the customer stuff internally?
So how do I educate internally, the internal teams? I touched upon it like a second ago, but I'll be more extensive about it. What we do, we generate a lot of reports and we show them every data point that we have about that product or something that is around that product. So for instance, we're going to show you how many people are searching in our search mechanism, in the search bar, something related to that product or a problem related to that problem. Then we're going to show you how many articles we generated for this. And we're going to show you the whole flow of what people are selecting, not selecting, etc. Then we're going to add the 10% that are actually engaging with us, showing people complaining about it. No, and let's be honest, nobody's going to call you saying, this is a great product, thank you for making it, and hang up. That doesn't happen. People only call to complain, and that's fine. So we're showing them the whole, set of information from the moment someone steps into the platform, the different stop signs, the data that we collect, and then how many users actually complain, actually say they're not happy with it. Based on that, we take a decision. Now we have, every product generates at least dozens of interactions, different flows, and then we're saying, based on the amount of users coming in, you should do this thing first, this thing second, etc. Did it answer your question?
Dave is booking a winter trip to Canada. His coworker mentioned Travelberry, a new startup focused on reinventing travel deals. So he checks it out, but right before he can book his flight, he wants to know if he can check in his snowboard and how much it costs. So he goes to the help center to see if he can answer his own question. After doing a quick search, he finds articles about checked baggage and additional checked baggage, but no specific answer for snowboards. A chat pops up asking if Dave needs any help. As soon as Dave asks his question, it automatically opens a ticket. Every communication with the customer goes through the ticketing system, where agents can view each customer's timeline. Julie is one of 5 Travelberry support agents. She notices the new ticket and answers it right away. Her reply appears in the chat. Now, Julie can see the articles he's already read in his timeline and look for other helpful resources. Since she knows flights sell fast, she offered to talk on the phone. Julie calls Dave right from the same ticket.
Hello?
Hi, Dave. It's Julie from Travelberry.
During the call, she explains that each airline is different. She sends a link for a flight deal matching his dates that allows ski equipment at no extra charge. Dave thanks her for her time and feels confident to book this flight. Julie writes up a call summary and then assigns her product managers since it's a new issue. If Julie or her team ever need to hear the call again, they can always access the recording right from this ticket. Based on this issue, she also writes a new article for the Help Center about oversized ski and snowboard baggage on different airlines. Now that it's the winter season, a product manager notices ski luggage becomes a top issue. This lets R&D, sales, and support take action when it matters most. The Travelberry product manager creates a feature request for a ski-friendly filter on the website, so customers like Dave can book flights with more confidence. Using Wix Answers, Travelberry connects the dots between their customers and their products, making their customer voice an integral part of growing their business. Now, Travelberry can make more informed business decisions backed by stats and analytics, because ski luggage is just one of many insights on what their customers really need. Thanks to Dave, Travelberry has a new filter that shows ski-friendly flights, creating a great solution for active winter travelers. Wix Answers was developed by Wix to support over 140 million Wix users and businesses worldwide. And now, it's ready to help yours. Wix Answers, your all-in-one customer support solution.
All right, so that was the video. I hope it was worth it. Now, this is Wix Answers. This is what we use. There are other platforms out there as well. So whatever works for you, all I'm trying to say is this. Without understanding the 90%, you can create effortless engagement with the user. And this is something that I know that it's super tempting to always focus on the 10%. But the one thing that always helped us to lead in the industry that we're operating on is understanding the 100%. And this is what it means for us, Wix.com. Effortless engagement with users. So thank you, unless you have any other questions. Yes?
I'm interested, you mentioned the algorithm for search. How much time did you spend sort of training that algorithm at first, and as a follow-up, how much time do you spend continuing to train that algorithm so it gets better and better as it goes along?
A lot. The answer is a lot. We're spending a lot of time on redefining it all the time and making sure that the terms and everything is up to date, because the way the algorithm worked 5 years ago is not how it works today. People change the way, back in the day, you used to see people searching for long, like actually writing a lot of text, searching for something. Today, it's like 3 words at most. So we're changing and we're working on it, and we have the best engineers behind that, working on improving the algorithm all the time. Yes?
How do you approach, or if you have these specific contact types where you maybe want to force a direct contact?
How do you force that?
Do you guys have a specific approach you take, or is there, like, certainly in our case, there are certain contact drivers that we want to manage more directly and maybe don't work well for?
Right. So we have a few funnels that users go through. We can always make it more approachable for users to engage with us if this is what we want out of them. So it's a matter of UI, UX to make it really clear if you want them to skip everything and no matter what, let's talk. There's a way to do it, and this is how we do it. Make sense?
Yeah.
If not, so I can try again, or maybe I didn't understand the question.
No, I mean, just in the vein of effortless, it's difficult to kind of get the customer in that track and sometimes still keep it that effortless, right? So is it just a matter of pushing them to the front of the queue with the UI?
Oh, once they get in, so for instance, we have things that we want to engage right away. And yes, and this is something part of the algorithm that you can say, this queue is more important than all the other queues. Always have people answering this user first right away. We have VAPs, for instance, people that purchase VAP packages. Whenever a user like this comes through to the funnel, we always give him a priority, but it can be not just VAP, it can be about which queue where the user is in, and if it's someone that we want to make a sale, for instance, we can give that user a priority. That's all. That's an option. Yes?
Pardon my ignorance, but I'm assuming this is global.
What do you mean by global?
So you have audience in different countries outside of the US,
Yes.
right? Are there any specific trends that you've noticed in global markets as far as how customers actually engage with different channels?
For sure. For instance, that's a great question. We are seeing a difference between how users globally tend to interact and what kind of support they're requesting. For instance, in the US, people are more likely to call you than any other market. Because here people think that support is something that you always have to have 24/7, usually someone that can respond right away. And in other countries, they're more likely to start a chat with you than actually call you. And that's up to us to say, okay, we're seeing that a lot more users are actually asking for a chat, so we're gonna have that thing come first as an option rather than a call, for instance. This is the message I had for you guys for today. So guys, thank you so much